History has given us a handful of leaders who understood the distinction between the delegate and trustee models, as we discussed in Part 2, and acted on it, even when it cost them everything politically. Let's look at 3. When Abraham Lincoln was inaugurated in 1861, historians estimate his public support at roughly 25%, comparable to the lowest approval ratings ever recorded in the modern polling era. He was widely mocked, dismissed, and considered hopelessly out of his depth. When he issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1862, the political backlash was immediate and severe. The midterm elections that year were a thumping Republican defeat. The New York Times described it as a vote of want of confidence in Abraham Lincoln. The states that had elected him, Illinois, Indiana, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, all sent new Democratic majorities to Congress. A poll-driven politician, confronted with those numbers, would have reversed course. Lincoln did not. He pressed forward. History vindicated him entirely. Lincoln understood something that poll-obsessed politicians never learn. You are not elected to tell people what they already believe. You are elected to lead them somewhere they haven't been yet. Throughout the 1930s, Winston Churchill was a political outcast. While the British government pursued appeasement, Churchill was sounding alarms that no one wanted to hear. When the Munich Agreement was signed in 1938 and Neville Chamberlain returned claiming he had secured peace in our time, Churchill stood before the House of Commons and said, and I quote, "I will begin by saying the most unpopular and unwelcome thing. We have sustained a total and unmitigated defeat." He was booed, he was heckled. His own party considered him an embarrassment. The majority wanted peace and comfort. Churchill offered them something harder, the truth. Political theorists describe Churchill's approach as the trustee model of leadership in its purest form. He voiced an unpopular position when the public lambasted him for it. His resoluteness in refusing to surrender to Germany in 1940 demonstrates strict adherence to vision in extreme circumstances. The majority was wrong, and Western democracy survived because of it. The majority wanted appeasement. Churchill offered resistance. The majority was wrong, and Western democracy survived because of it. John F. Kennedy wrote an entire book about this. Profiles in Courage, published in 1956, won the Pulitzer Prize and profiled 8 U.S. senators who had made politically costly decisions because they believed they were right. Kennedy's own warning is worth hearing directly. He wrote that only the very courageous will be able to take the hard and unpopular decisions necessary for survival. Then he became president, and he lived those words. During the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962, Kennedy resisted enormous pressure to launch an immediate airstrike against Cuba. The popular choice, strike first, show strength, was not the choice Kennedy made. He chose diplomacy. He chose patience. It saved the world from nuclear war. In 1963, he risked losing his southern base to call racial discrimination a moral issue on national TV. Real leadership is measured by what you're willing to risk, not what you're willing to perform. That is the final lesson from these 3 who refused to follow the polls. To sum up, the delegate politician wakes up, reads the polls, adopts the most popular position, and calls it listening to the people. They are not leading, they are following, dressed up in the language of leadership. The trustee leader does something fundamentally different. They read the evidence, they form a conviction, and then they go to work persuading the public rather than simply performing for it. They don't ask what people believe, they ask what the evidence demands. Lincoln understood this. He governed at an estimated 25% approval, issued the Emancipation Proclamation into a political firestorm, watched his party suffer devastating midterm losses, and did not reverse course. History vindicated him completely. Churchill understood this. He spent a decade warning about Hitler while Parliament mocked him, while the public wanted appeasement, while the popular and comfortable position was to believe the crisis wasn't coming. He did not retreat. Western democracy survived because he didn't. Kennedy understood this. He sat in the Oval Office during 13 days in October 1962 with his generals demanding an immediate airstrike, with a politically safe move right in front of him, and chose the harder, quieter path of diplomacy instead. It saved the world from nuclear war. None of them checked the polls first. Here's what Time magazine wrote in 1948, and these words are worth sitting with. A democracy also needs leadership by men who must frequently tell the people why a popular notion, no matter how widely held, can be wrong. That was 1948. The warning is still waiting to be heeded. Polling-driven politics is not a neutral tool. It is the ad populum fallacy in institutional form. It takes the oldest reasoning error in human history, treating popularity as a substitute for truth, and builds it into the architecture of governance itself. The antidote is not cynicism. It is not the assumption that the majority is always wrong. The antidote is the habit, the discipline, of asking one question before accepting any claim or any policy position, no matter how many people are behind it. Where is the evidence? Real leaders don't chase the polls. They read the evidence, form a conviction, and then go to work persuading the rest of us. That is the difference between a politician and a leader. And right now, that difference has never mattered more. If this video sharpened your thinking, if it gave you a clearer lens for evaluating the leaders and the arguments you encounter every day, please like it, share it with someone who needs these tools, and subscribe to the Critical Thinking Literacy channel so you don't miss the next installment of Attack on Reason. I'm John Balla. Until next time, thanks for watching the Critical Thinking Literacy channel. Think critically, choose wisely,